they think they want that, and then they're like, 14-year-olds on YouTube? Oh yeah, that is my audience, you know, it's my audience.
I can tell you how I found my niche, I suppose, in that I had entered, of course, the Nostalgia Chick contest, and then they just kept, like, the top 3 of us, and even though I'm not the Nostalgia Chick, well, here I am kind of figuring out, now what do I do? Because I'm not supposed to be necessarily reviewing, like, I thought what people wanted was a copy of Doug, and to an extent they did, but not really. And then I realized I'm not even good at it to begin with. I thought I wanted to be sarcastic and funny, and I didn't think I was very good at it. So after a while, it was like, well, what do I really like? Okay, I really like animation, and I'm passionate about certain video game titles. And then when you do find your passion really shows. And I decided I'll just mostly be informative, and then give background as to what it is that made this title come into existence. And so then there I was on this website full of snarky people, and I'm not the snarky person, and some people kind of like rejected it, like, I come to the guy with the glasses to laugh. Well, I'm not laughing. And then, but I did find my audience who was like, but this is unique. And so I don't necessarily have the same audience as the rest of the reviewers on that guy with the glasses. I have my audience. And you know what? That's fantastic. That means I'm not competing with everybody else who might review the same stuff as me. For that reason, you find your own voice and you talk the way that you are passionate. Just, again, so long as you're not throwing in references here and there that people won't understand. Just do what you love, man. You got to.
Yeah, well, that's basically what I did. Is I looked at all the reviewers out there, and they all looked the same. Well, you know, with differing degrees, and I decided that's not what I wanted to do. And because I don't like reviewing things, I think people can make their own decision about that stuff. I'm not, you know, I'm not that snarky person or anything like that, and I just felt like, well, maybe I should just make something educational. And granted, the people that watch my show all already know everything that I'm talking about in my show, but, you know, it's kind of nice to think that at least if there's someone out there that's like, well, what the heck is Moe? Well, you know, you can search on YouTube and you can find something that says, what is Moe?
People that have been anime fans for 10 years don't know. I don't really know. Yes.
Well, you know, I like to think that, you know, maybe there are some themes in this that, you know, anime fans don't like. Like, you know, a lot of anime fans don't know what Golden Week is. And so, you know, doing an episode on that and, you know, trying to think, well, you know, what made me, like, cringe when I was first starting to watch anime, you know? Like, why do they have these huge eyes and huge mouths? I should probably do that episode eventually. And, you know, things like that.
And there's a reason for it. So
yeah.
That's why I like your stuff, because it's not a review, but it is culturally relevant to people who are already entertained by the medium. And then if you really want to know the nitty-gritty details of why people would behave a certain way in this situation and you don't understand why, here's the cultural reasons behind it.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Very Loud Voice. We have our mic back, but thank you for having a loud voice. Here, you can have a loud movie.
Nice.
Okay, so my friend runs a website, and he's trying to get viewers. His passion for gaming. I don't remember the website's name off the top of my head. But viewers have been going down the, and he would like to know how to bring them back in. Should he go out of his comfort zone, do something different? Should he try to stay the same?
Well, I don't really know what his problem. That sounds. I don't know what his problem. No, I don't know what his specific issue is that's causing that. Because of course, if there's something causing that, then there's an easy solution to it. But I would guess that if he had a higher number of viewers and it is going down rather than starting at nothing and isn't improving, which is the problem everybody faces initially. But then it probably has to do with consistency. Problem I'm very familiar with. Consistency of release, that is to say, which, if it's been a long gap between his updates, that could be it, but even if it hasn't, even if I'm just spitballing, this is good for everybody to know. One of the biggest things you can do starting out reviewing things or just doing internet entertainment is be consistent. Even if you do 20 crappy episodes before you figure out, like, what your style is and do one really good one, which I feel like that's what I did, honestly. Like, I know some people like my earlier stuff, but I feel like I did like 15 to 20 like crappy episodes before I really did a better one. And then my release schedule slowed down, but I already had a fan base, so it was okay to slow down. But when you're first starting out, be consistent. Even if everything's crappy, if you're gonna do one every 2 weeks, do one every 2 weeks. Even if it's like, oh, I don't know about this, should I release it? One every 2 weeks if you're starting out, because otherwise you will. Most people that do any video reviewing stuff, they do 2 episodes, they say there's a third one, never happens. That's what happens. Like, and sometimes it's just one, and then they say there's a second one, but usually they get out 2. Most people get out 2, and then there's a third review coming, and it never happens, and then they get really bitter and angry and stuff. But, you know.
Thank you.
You like Stinko or would you like this?
No, Stinko. Tell your friend that,
You know, even if his website numbers are having trouble, he can watch this and feel better. Zach, everyone at 17 again. This is one of the
Burn that movie to the ground! Hello, my name's Rafael Alejandro. My website says JesuOtaku.com. You sort of already started answering this with the past couple questions. I've been wondering if you all have advice as far as building an audience, networking, trying to get your name out there more.
Building an audience. Well, the best thing you can do is just produce good content, produce it consistently. Like, to have a consistent release schedule and be proud of be proud of what you do and do it a lot. It's the best way you can build an audience. And past that, when you're starting out, there's not much you can do. When you get a little bit more groundwork, then networking comes into play when you do, like some people do crossovers, or some people do, they work with other producers, or they do like a bit, like they write a piece, or they do a short video for another producer's site, etc. And you can do that from the ground floor too. There are a lot of people that, I mean, like I started out with the D2 Brigade, who was a bunch of nobodies, and we just worked together and built a little bit of a fan following just by kind of doing stuff together. So I would just say find other people whose work you respect. Don't ever like, oh man, this guy's work sucks, but I bet I can pull him in and maybe get his view. You've got to respect their work, or else you're disrespecting yourself and your audience. So, you know, work with people that you respect and appreciate, and be consistent.
I also totally embraced social media, and I've
Use Facebook.
been to many panels, actually at PAX even, where they do in fact have a panel that's about social media and how it helps, legit businesses within the industry. There's social media representatives in those companies for a reason. They get on Twitter, they get on Facebook, they get on Tumblr, they get on Google Plus for some reason. and because not everybody is on every single piece of social media except for me. And so that's how you end up talking to all these different people who then share it with all these other people who otherwise don't really have, they had no idea where to look. And when they start sharing it with other people, then they start posting it to their other social networks. It's a big networking branch that you have to start the legwork yourself, and of course you would hopefully eventually get a good core website yourself that then branches off to, here's my Facebook, here's my Twitter, here's my Tumblr, here's my Google Plus for some reason. That's about it.
Thank you.
Do you like Rurouni Kenshin? Rurouni Kenshin?
Haven't seen it, but
Okay, well this is a terrible place to start with it, but here you go.
Okay.
The Kyoto Arc OVA, which involves a mummy fucking somebody with his burned dick. That made more sense in my head before I said it.
I wish I said
Hello, I'm Nick. I'm with Copper Save, and I do voice acting for them. Yes. My question was going to be more along, because you kind of answered it. it's along the lines of consistency and along with motivation. How do you stay motivated for something so that you can produce it consistently? Because that seems to be a big problem for reviewers, a lot of people now.
Well, there is the danger that I've fallen into of doing something because you see it as your obligation. If you do get a following, well, usually people get frustrated because either they have no following or they do and they feel it obligates them to things that they do not enjoy. I've done that. I've gotten into projects, it's like, I enjoy this, it's fun. And then it's like, I don't want to do the classic reviews anymore. I really don't. If I never did a classic review again, I would be perfectly cool with that. People are like, do this. Okay. And I'm not totally burned out on Digimon, thank God, but I do need a break. Like, I needed a long break from it because it was like, man, I've done, I forgot how many hours it was, I think.
4, like 5.5.
No, it's not 4, it's more than that. It's, it's 16 or something hours. But anyway, so, keeping motivation up, it's tricky if you don't feel like you have the audience that you want. Nobody's listening and nobody cares, so you have to care about the audience that you have. Even if it's just, 40 people. You have to care about what those people want, cater to their desires and to what they, want to see, etc. While not, if it ever becomes a thing that you don't enjoy yourself and you just don't enjoy doing it, then you should stop. I know, you're probably not making a living off of it. So then you should just stop. If you can find something in it to keep you going, you can do it for you as well as for the people that enjoy your content, then you should do it. But honestly, as far as keeping yourself motivated even though you don't like it, if you really don't like it, this is a thing that requires you to love it to keep going. So then you should move on.
And maybe don't stay so within bounds of like, I said I was very specifically going to review retro games on the Super Famicom between this year and this year. You know what? Don't restrict yourself to that. Yeah. Or what you can do is be like, this is what I want to do for this amount of time. And then when you start getting burned out on it, say, you know what? I need to put this to the side for a second. There's actually something else that I love and I wanted to get to. And I'm not saying juggle the both of them at the same time. I am saying, go back and forth between these two fun things so that you don't burn yourself out on both of them at the same time, and then you can't even look at them even in your own free time. Like, that's the thing about, I hear people in the video game industry who are like, I've been working on video games all day. I don't want to go home and play video games. Do you really want to do that to yourself? Like, burn yourself out on either anime or video games when that's what you're really passionate about? So yeah, be a little more broad, perhaps, and come back, if you're burned out, come back to it later. Don't drop it, but do make sure that you come back to it.
And because I do know who you are, and I know what you've been working on a little bit with me, and we did like a brief fandom thing. It was Kazuo Shoujo fandom. Yeah, I know. So I helped out with it. I didn't run it, but I helped out with it. I'm going to give you something that takes place in high school. Here is High School Musical 2.
Thank you so much for
My name is DeForest Williams, and I'm interested in animation. I don't have a website, but I'm interested in doing animation. And this goes for everyone in the panel. What is the best and worst things about reviewing animation in general?
That's a really good question. Best thing about reviewing animation is I feel like there is the people that like it really like it, and what am I doing?
Sign in.
Oh, okay.
Sign your life away.
Oh, okay. Hopes, dreams, signing away. Anyways, the people that are into animation generally know what they're talking. You're not going to get with the games crowd. Sometimes you're going to get a bunch of 12-year-olds, etc. But with animation, usually it's people that have been fascinated with it for a while and are into it, and they're a little more mature. Like, not always, but a little bit more. You get that strong niche of people who really care about it and can tell you things about it and can learn from each other. That's one of the greatest things about doing video reviews. And if this is what you're looking for, this is what you're going to find in working on video reviews, is finding people who are like-minded who can teach you things. that's the best thing you could do. That's the best thing you get from video reviews. Being able to teach other people things and open up new experiences for them and have